I'm saying at least 3 major brands that you and I know will launch new shiny print publications. And when I say that, they're going to be recurring publications, I would say at least quarterly, and they will be set out through the post office. And I think that is going to happen in the year 2024. The quarterly custom magazine is going to be out in force. And my rationale for this, and then now you can pick it apart, is it is more difficult than we've ever thought could be possible to build an audience online outside of your viral hits and whatnot. And we have this print channel and this postal service that is, at least, I don't know what it does in California, but in Cleveland, Ohio, they deliver 6 times a week. And the quality of the publications through the print, basically spam, direct mail, casino literature, whatever you seem to be getting these days, it's not very valuable. I think there's a huge opportunity in print because it's 100% deliverability. And you can send specifically, I like the loyalty method. I like sending it out to current customers. I don't know what these 3 major brands will do, if they'll say, hey, we want to take a position around a certain topic, or whether or not we want to focus on a loyalty-driven activity. I'm going to leave that up in the air, but I think that's going to happen in 2024. What say you, Mr. Rose?
I 100% agree with you.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, and here's why. It'll lead. We'll get to my first one here in just a moment, which is directly, intricately linked to what you just said. But I think from a marketing perspective, I've been calling 2024 the year of brand. And we actually talked about it a little bit on the last episode, I think, where I talked about the fact that with the trend of AI, with the trends of social media, which of course we'll talk about as well, with the trend of everything that's going on from automation, technology, privacy, data, all those things, in many ways, the short term, I think this is a short term, so call it 2024, if you will, trend will be that the storyteller, the source of information, will become even more important than perhaps even the story itself. In other words, who brings you the news, who brings you feature articles, who brings you thought leadership, who brings you insight, who brings you entertainment. That brand level experience is going to become really important. And so I see companies really leaning into that. And print is, of course, as you have predicted for many years. And I think that's a pretty safe prediction, by the way, the glossy, sort of things, because we even saw that this year start to happen. But
yeah, I mean, we know that Amazon and Walmart have both doubled down with their catalogs.
Yeah,
but I haven't quite seen the push. We've seen CDW continue on with their wonderful,
that's right,
driven magazines in the ed tech and government tech markets. But I'd like to see some new, and I really think that the problem is that I think a lot of chief marketing officers forget that they can actually market through print.
Yeah, well,
when all this competition is around, there's so much competition online. It's almost like I don't know how it is in lovely Hollywood, where you are around, where you drive in the wonderful traffic there. But in Cleveland, we've seen a resurgence of billboards over the past couple of years.
Interesting.
And it's interesting, especially on the legal side. It's like everybody's got this gotcha billboard that seems to be working. So, okay, great. You see this, now and again. So you got outdoor working really well. I'm like, I just can't believe that we've forgotten that, wow, you can have uninterrupted lean back experience. I always say that the internet is built for lean forward, which means I have a question, I want an answer, I'm leaning forward, I want that information.
Yeah.
What I love about print, it's a lean back experience, is I don't necessarily know what the questions are, but I'm going to lean back and have this experience and maybe come up with some questions because of the content that's in front of me. And that's why I like that. So
yeah, no, I 100% agree with that. And I think, one of the interesting trends that we've seen sort of very much under the radar, I would say, is the technology is now at a place with print that you don't have to have these huge runs to make it
That's right.
to make it cost effective, right? So we see as a sales enablement, this is, especially true in B2B, where we see glossy thought leadership magazine or some sort of print piece, not necessarily a catalog, but a content marketing oriented piece, be used with exclusive distribution, where quite literally the salespeople are the distribution method,
That's
right? They're
right.
just handing this thing out to customers, or giving it away at their conference, or giving it away at their at other conferences where they're paying for a booth or something like that. And it becomes much more of a conversation starter for sales, and you don't have to run 10,000, 15,000, 20,000 copies of it to make it cost effective. You can literally run a few hundred, and do it, and do print on demand now. And it's
Which has been the variable printing of that has been happening for years. If you look at anything in distribution, where let's say you have a Lennox selling their air conditioning equipment, but they will then the local distributor gets the names and set directly to the homeowner in that location. Automotive has done that forever, right? I get a Mazda magazine, but the Mazda magazine is coming not from Mazda corporate, even though all the content is created corporately. It's coming from the local Mazda dealership. So anyways. So there we go. But I do like the fact that you're right. It is much, much less expensive, but there's still a moat. It's like anybody can do a podcast. Anyone can put out a video. It's almost free to do that with, millions of people. But if you want to do a little bit more, there is the expense of the post office. There's the expense of the design and the editorial and the printing. It's a little bit more that you have to give than just throwing it up online. And I think that moat presents an opportunity. So
yeah, it's the distribution, right? That's where you get creative, is in your distribution of how you get this thing into people's hands.